specialist.
So how did you get to the States?
Well, it's like the Peace Corps. They put you where they need you the most. No, that's a good question. Now, jokes aside, I started to, I was reading the literature and I said, this paper's from Davis, this paper's from Cornell, Pennsylvania, UPenn or whatever. I said, I think I better go there to get and I knew I had to do a little more, the residency, to get more certified. And I said, there's nothing like this in Australia. I got a truck over there. Well, I wrote to about 4 schools, and I wasn't getting much. And then I wasn't getting much. And then I just happened to get a letter from The Ohio State, where, of course, that's where my wife graduated. And they said, "Oh, come over for a residency." And so I flew there, and I was 23 years old and landed in hot, humid Columbus from an Australian winter. Don't forget, we were as cold when I left. And got to Ohio, it was hot and humid, and I was picked up at the airport by Dr. Al Garbel, who's a standardbred specialist, and that's where I did my surgery residency, and then went to Canada and then how did I end up in Colorado? Well, I was giving a lecture. Actually, it happened to be in Switzerland at an ASIF course in Switzerland. Not when I was in Switzerland, but I flew back to for an ASIF course associated with the AO group. And O.R. Adams was there, of the great lameness in horses fame. Well, I flew back to Canada, had no idea I was coming here, and then there was a call from Jim Voss and said, "We have a position here. Would you be interested in it?" I applied for it, and I've been here ever since. And my wife came up to Canada, Saskatoon, kind of a cold place, and then she got pretty excited about me moving to Colorado. She said, "Yeah, let's take that job." Yeah. And she got a job in actually clinical pathology.
So she's a board-certified clinical pathologist as well, isn't she?
And in anesthesia, she's a double dip. And then we got moved, and we love it here.
You were an equine surgeon first.
Yes.
So my question to you is, this is your second career, right? As a sheep surgeon?
No, as an orthopedic researcher, not a sheep surgeon. I wouldn't call myself a sheep surgeon. I'd say an orthopedic researcher.
What do you love about being an orthopedic researcher that you didn't get to be as an equine surgeon?
No, I think mainly we can find animal models for human issues. It's a little bit hard in horses to say, try that in a horse. Let's go to a company and put it in people. You're more likely to, because the implants are so different in size, you're more likely to try it from sheep into people. And that was exciting me, to be on the cutting edge for human research. And like I said, I've scrubbed in with dozens of doctors.
Have you found the orthopedic research side of your career being the more rewarding side?
I said no, anything related to human. See, we've done a fair bit, we've done the drugs for osteoporosis and some medical stuff. That all interests me, all related to humans. To see me go from the sheep into people. Yeah. And there's about 12 items that got to the market that came through this lab. Yeah. And I won't go into the details of those, but they went from the sheep to people in this lab. And the Food and Drug Administration said, look, we need to try that out first in a large animal. We can't use mice or rats or hamsters for that because the implant is the size of the damn mouse's leg. We need to try that in something big. And that's how the rest is history.
You received the AVMA Career Excellence Award, is that correct?
Yep. I was the first and only Australian ever to get that.
Really?
Yep.
Congratulations. You got the ACVS Founders Award?
Yep.
And then the other one I'm thinking of is your honorary degree from Melbourne.
Well, an honorary degree, it's pretty cool. You don't have to do a damn thing for it. Yeah. And they present you with this beautiful red gown, free, and one of those big floppy hats. And I can wear that to graduations, which I have here at CSU. And I got up at the graduation. They were graduating vet students, and they said, "Oh, why are the vet students here? There's another award here. We'll give this honorary degree to Simon Turner. He graduated here," and I was in the same hallway that I got my veterinary degree years before to get the honorary degree. It was one of the happiest days of my life, and there are only 2 people missing.
Who's that?
My mother and my father.
Well, they sure would be proud, I know that.
Being a dairy farmer, I think he would.
So you've built a lab that was special to many employees and staff members, as well as surgeons, residents, and especially students over the years.
Yes.
And there's not a soul that I've ever talked to that wasn't proud of the culture and the philosophy of how that lab grows and promotes people and things like that. So how did you do that?
Here's the thing. Just like Shackleton had able-bodied seamen in here to do the grunt work. I needed someone to do grunt work. I never asked a student to do something that I wouldn't do. Shackleton never asked his seamen to do something that he wouldn't do himself, whether it be pull in a rope or whatever. I would never ask a student to throw a sheep on a wheelbarrow if I couldn't do it myself. And there are some people, some in this building, who wouldn't have that philosophy. And I learned a lot of how to run it from that book.
So what did you learn from that book?
It's the best book on leadership I've ever had. And how he kept 27 people alive, living in Antarctica, living under boats, eating seagulls, eating penguins. And there was no apples or lettuce to add. No. And he kept them alive because of his personality and his leadership. And the ladies that wrote this, they read the book Endurance about Shackleton's ordeal. It's a heavy, thick-covered book. They've read that. And then they said, what was it about him that kept these people together without driving each other crazy? And that's when this book came out. And I said, aha. And I've read this, I was telling Joe, I've read this book, I've tabbed quite a lot in this, and I will go through the book periodically and say, I look at my underlining, aha, I could improve on that. Next page. I'm doing that okay. I got to get better at this. Yeah. And that's nothing, and living under sea, in the snow and ice in Antarctica has nothing to do with orthopedic research. And I've told you before, they give these books to these big-ass companies. The people in there said, look, before you come to the meeting on leadership, we want you to read this book. It may be IBM or someone like that, and said, deal with computers, not Antarctica. What the heck has this got to do with computers? It's leadership 101 right there. And that's how, there's a lot of things in here, and the food is one thing.
Yeah. So what's that about? Tell us about that. Because food is important to the lab, right? We love to eat, and we love to eat together.
The quickest bridge between two people is humor and food. And this book, the quickest, and Shackleton said, it says in this book, guys, don't lose your sense of humor. And as I said, they would sit down every day, and there'd be just grunt seamen, there'd be lawyers, engineers, a complete cross-section of society. They'd get together and look at each other face to face. We're in this together. And that's why I have been very quick to have people together for dinner at those lunch things we have. And that's where you'll get people coming to you to air some stuff that they'd never do. It's a little more personal, and it's a quick bridge to people.
It was certainly a bridge to a lot of the clients in the lab over the years too, with you having your dinner parties at home and things like that.
Well, I want the clients, I want the students that work for you to be absolutely love working here. Now, there's a lot of people that don't love to work in this building. Not mentioning names, but there's some people here that don't like working here. I want people to want to work with you. And that is what he did. He had the most unbelievable loyalty with 27 people. And they all survived. Even the cat lived. You didn't know that?
I didn't actually know that. So tell me about the dinner parties that you used to have for the clients.
Well, what we would do is the clients would often take us to nice restaurants here in town, but I am passionate about cooking. And the clients that you would have to my house, we're pretty much into dinner parties. It was a very personal touch to the clients.
I still have clients to this day that that will say, "Is Simon around? Can I come over for dinner?"
Well, I want the clientele, I want them to enjoy coming back, not because we do good research, which you do, but because they have a good time, because they've got terrible, boring jobs, eating out at restaurants and paying a lot of money every time.
And I always do. I agree with you. I think I've always found that the clients that enjoy the company of our team are the ones that stay around the longest, and we really become close and friends with, because they actually, it's not. Hopefully, we do good research for them, but hopefully they enjoy us as people as well.
Precisely, because some of their jobs are a little bit tedious, dealing with FDA and all the government stuff. That could get a bit old.
Hopefully they can come here and have some fun.
Precisely. You know what I'm talking about.